You know how to hook them by the mouth. Ever read a book's first line and felt like it reached out, pulled you in, and refused to let go? I'm talking about that magical moment where one sentence changes everything. One sentence that turns a casual glance into a late night reading marathon. Here's the thing, writing that sentence isn't easy, but what if I told you there's a way to do it every single time? Plus, I'll share one mind blowing counterintuitive tip at the end, something that seems backward but can instantly make your opening unforgettable. Let's dive in. Picture this. You're in a cozy bookstore on a quiet afternoon, running your hand along the spines, looking for something new. You pick a novel at random, crack it open, and just skim the first line. If that line doesn't spark your curiosity, you slip the book back and move on. No harm done. But if it does, suddenly you're leaning in, flipping pages, mentally checking your watch to see if you can cancel tonight's plans. That's what a great first sentence does. It's the difference between a book staying on the shelf and staying in your mind. So how do we write this magical first line? Let's look at 4 powerful techniques, and after that, we're going even deeper. Because the first sentence might hook the reader, but the first chapter is what reels them in. A curiosity hook dangles a question or a mystery that your reader can't ignore. By offering just a hint of something unusual, an odd event, a cryptic statement, you activate their natural need to know more. Our brains hate loose ends. When something is left unexplained, we feel compelled to keep reading until we find answers. This subtle tension keeps readers engaged. Setting a curious tone right away gets readers invested, turning them into detective. Instead of passively taking in information, they actively search for clues.
Example: the screaming had stopped hours ago, but the silence was worse.
Start with a line that sparks an immediate why or how. If you can make your reader lean forward, hungry for more, you've nailed the curiosity hook. Starting with something truly unexpected, a startling confession, a jarring event, instantly commands attention. It forces the reader to sit up and wonder, what just happened? You like that? I've been practicing acting. Our brains love patterns and hate when they're broken. A shocking first line disrupts expectations, triggering curiosity and emotional intensity right away. By launching straight into something surprising, you create a sense of unpredictability. Readers stick around because they need to see what comes next and why.
Example: I didn't know my brother was a murderer until I saw him holding the knife.
Choose an opening detail that makes someone do a double take. Test it out. If a friend says, "Wait, what?" You've nailed the shock factor. An emotional hook sparks readers' empathy right from the start. By tapping into universal feelings like love, loss, fear, or hope, you instantly connect with your audience on a human level. When readers feel something, they care. That emotional investment makes them more likely to keep reading, eager to understand how characters resolve their struggles. An emotional opening line sets the stage for empathy. Instead of just observing characters, readers start to inhabit their inner worlds. This emotional investment makes readers more patient, more forgiving, and more likely to stick around. If they already feel something for the character or situation, they'll want to see how it all unfolds.
Example: I held her letter against my chest, knowing this would be the last time I'd ever feel her words so close to my heart.
Identify the core emotion at the scene's heart and make it hit home in your opening line. The stronger that emotional connection, the harder it is for readers to walk away. A visually striking opener places your reader right inside your world. By painting a clear sensory scene, you let them taste the air, feel the ground, and see the colors, pulling them closer than any abstract description could. We process images quickly, and vivid details instantly immerse readers. A single line can set the tone, spark curiosity, and create an emotional atmosphere without lengthy exposition. A strong visual can instantly communicate mood, setting, and stakes without lengthy explanations. It can hint at danger with a blood-red sunset, suggest comfort with warm lamplight on a rainy pavement, or mark a turning point with ash drifting through a ruined city. These images anchor your readers in a tangible reality, making them want to explore further.
Example: the lantern's flame flickered on damp stone walls, each flicker carving out shadows that trembled with the drip of rainwater.
Great. you've nailed that opening line. But here's the real challenge. What happens after the first line? How do you ensure that by the end of the first chapter, your readers are not just curious but completely hooked? The first sentence is the handshake. The first chapter is the entire conversation. It's where you convince readers, hey, this is a story worth sticking around for. Let's break it down into 4 steps. In your first chapter, introduce a central issue that needs solving, a looming threat, a moral dilemma, a crucial mystery. Immediately putting something important at stake turns casual readers into active participants. An unresolved problem fuels tension and forward momentum. Readers keep going because they need to see how the characters overcome obstacles or uncover secrets. Without a clear issue, they have no reason to care. We're wired to seek closure. Presenting a problem taps into this craving, making readers eager to find answers. A well-defined problem sets the stakes, whether it's a missing person before sunrise or a ticking clock on a dire choice. As complications deepen, readers grow more invested.
Example: if the sun rose and he still hadn't found her, there would be no saving anyone.
Introduce a central tension early, one you won't resolve right away. Tease the dangers and challenges ahead, ensuring readers feel the weight of what's at risk. This pressure keeps them turning pages. When you end a chapter on an unanswered question or unresolved confrontation or a moment of shock, you leave readers with a gap in their understanding, something that begs to be resolved. This isn't just a narrative trick. It's leveraging a well-studied psychological phenomenon known as the Zeigarnik effect. The Zeigarnik effect states that people remember incomplete or interrupted tasks better than completed ones. In other words, we're naturally wired to want closure. When readers encounter a cliffhanger, their minds treat the unresolved story event as an open loop, an unfinished task. This creates mental tension and a subtle itch that can only be scratched by continuing to read. Your audience's brain is essentially saying, I need to know what happens next. It's the same reason TV binge watching is addictive. Each episode ends right before a payoff, compelling you to watch just one more. In fiction, a well-paced cliffhanger at the end of a chapter harnesses this effect, pulling your readers deeper into the narrative and making it extremely hard for them to put your book down.
Example: and then the door creaked open, revealing the one person I never thought I'd see again.
Think about your chapter endings like carefully positioned dominoes. Instead of resolving every issue, leave a key question dangling. Ask yourself, what's the one piece of information I can withhold or the one turn of events I can suggest without explaining fully? This doesn't mean frustrating your readers endlessly, but it does mean giving them a compelling reason to turn the page, just like a TV show's season finale that leaves you counting down the days to the next season. Your cliffhanger should make readers eager, sometimes even desperate to continue. Readers keep reading because they care about people, real or imagined. By introducing a character who's more than meets the eye, you give your audience a reason to invest. Intriguing characters aren't just defined by what they do, but what they hide, what they desire, and what conflicts they carry inside. Even a single hint of a secret, a contradiction, or an unexpected trait can make them feel like living, breathing individuals worth figuring out. We're drawn to puzzles, and humans are the most fascinating puzzles of all. If your protagonist isn't just a standard hero, but someone with a private guilt, a dream they're afraid to pursue, or a past they refuse to discuss, readers will lean in. Curiosity takes over. Who is this person really? What are they holding back? That personal mystery is often as compelling as any plot twist. When readers feel they know your characters or desperately want to, they'll follow them anywhere. This emotional investment makes readers forgive slower moments and savor the journey. Characters who break stereotypes, act unpredictably, or harbor complex motivations stand out. They create tension, spark conflict, and foster empathy, all of which keep the narrative alive.
Example: my name isn't Alex, but for now, It has to be.
Just this one line says the character isn't who they claim to be, opening a world of questions. Why are they lying? What's at risk if their true identity is revealed? Introduce a subtle character mystery early. Show a moment of vulnerability. Reveal a tiny piece of backstory that doesn't add up, or hint at a motive that contradicts their action. Even if you don't explain everything right away, that intrigue makes readers feel they're on the verge of discovering something meaningful. Dropping readers right into conflict, whether it's a tense argument, a chase, or a moral dilemma, immediately signals that something meaningful is at stake. This urgency hooks the reader's emotions and curiosity. Conflict ignites our empathy. We project ourselves into the character's struggle, triggering a mini fight or flight response that keeps us glued to the page. Conflict creates momentum, even subtle tension. An awkward silence, a secret withheld, keeps the narrative alive, pushing the reader forward to see what happens next.
Example: I ran through the dark woods, blood dripping from my hands, knowing they were close behind.
Open with a moment where something's off. Something's about to break or someone must make a tough choice. This pressure entices reader to keep turning pages to find out how it all unfolds. By now, you know how to open strong and keep readers engaged. But I promise something special at the end. An unexpected tip that's going to flip the way you think about first lines. Keep watching. Think back to some of the most successful novels you've read. Maybe it's the chilling opening of 1984. It was a bright, cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13. Or the whimsical mystery of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, as we wonder who this boy wizard really is. Every great story hooks you early and refuses to let go. It grabs you by the mouth, like a fish. The techniques we've discussed, curiosity, shock, emotion, vivid imagery, conflict, and cliffhangers, aren't accidents. They're deliberate choices that make your brain say, just one more page. And here's the great news. You can do this too. It doesn't matter if this is your first story or your 50th. You can practice these techniques until they feel natural. Alright, I promise a mind-blowing tip, and here it is. When you first draft your opening line, don't stress about making it perfect. In fact, write the whole chapter first. Get a feel for the tone and direction, and then go back and craft that irresistible opener. Sometimes the best hook emerges after you understand your story's heart. It feels backward because we think we must start perfect, but often the perfect start reveals itself at the end of your writing process. Embrace that. To hook readers from the start, begin with a first sentence that stirs curiosity, shocks, evokes emotion, or paints a vivid picture. Then, sustain that interest in your first chapter by setting up a problem, ending with a cliffhanger, making characters compelling, and diving straight into conflict. And don't worry if your first draft doesn't nail it. Writing is a skill. The more you rewrite, the sharper your openings become. If you found these tips helpful, go ahead and hit subscribe for more insights on storytelling, writing, and creativity. In the comments, let me know the best first line you've read, or even the one that you've written yourself. I can't wait to see what you come up with. So there's the first line and the first chapter taken care of. But they don't mean anything if you don't have a great character to begin with. Click this video to watch how to create characters that will sear into your reader's brain until they're 80 or 94, depending if they have a family history of dementia. Guys, we have a PDF of everything we talked about in this video. You can download it for as little as $1. Links in the description. Anything to support the channel will do. It just goes to coffee, basically for one Starbucks mocha latte a month. Please feed my addiction.